you were to Google most beautiful cemeteries, you would find a lot of search results. But as you scrolled down, you would notice many of the same names popping up. One of those names would undoubtedly be the Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The Old Jewish Cemetery in Prague and Père Lachaise in Paris often claim the top spot for being the most beautiful graveyards in the world. And Père Lachaise might be due to its abundance of greenery. But I would argue that the Recoleta Cemetery should be considered alongside these. Here's my take on this incredible place. The cemetery is located in Buenos Aires in the Recoleta neighborhood. Named after the order of Franciscan monks who settled here in the early 18th century, this area was previously on the outskirts of the city. When the yellow fever epidemic broke out in 1870, the city's wealthiest citizens moved here because its high elevation decreased the presence of insects that carried the disease. Ever since, the affluent have continued to settle here, and today, the architecture, restaurants, and hotels are evidence of this. The cemetery opened in 1822 and contains 6,400 statues, monuments, and burial vaults. I couldn't find the exact number of internments, but I would estimate the number to be around several hundred thousand at the very least. This place is very popular, so there's probably always going to be a line. That being said, when I went in the late morning in early November, the line moved quickly. There is a small admission fee, but it's totally worth it. The admission fee also undoubtedly changes frequently due to the constant fluctuations in the Argentine peso, so please be aware of that. Many of Argentina's esteemed politicians, businessmen, and artists are buried here. So joining a guided tour might be an option to learn more about the history of the country. The most famous person buried here is Eva Perón, the former First Lady who died in 1952 at the age of 33. In Argentina, she is widely admired but for many others, she is most famous because of the 1996 biographical musical Evita. If, like me, you show up without a plan and just want to explore, you won't be disappointed. This is the perfect place to get lost in. With alleys and walkways forking off in all directions, you sometimes feel like you're in a maze. But don't worry, if you don't have a map, just keep to the outside wall and you will find your way out. Over 90 of the tombs here have been designated National Historical Monuments. As much as I enjoyed exploring without a plan, the magnificence of the tombs made me wish I had taken a tour to learn more about the people buried here. This is one thing I would recommend. Hire a guide or join a walking tour to get the most out of your visit. As I mentioned earlier, the Recoleta Cemetery is a wonderful place to explore, and it is common to see dilapidated crypts and some may feel this is macabre, but I think it adds atmosphere to the place. That being said, even though the cemetery is 200 years old, please be respectful when looking around or taking photos. Not every grave is neglected, and burials happen regularly. Occasionally, you come across family members visiting their loved ones and cleaning and repairing the tombs. Please be mindful of this. Additionally, you should wear good shoes as you will be walking over 14 acres of pavement. There are also no refreshments offered in the cemetery, and there's very little shade, so bring water, sunscreen, and a hat if you visit on a hot day. Whether or not you like cemeteries, the Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires is a must see sight when you visit the city. Of course, you don't need to spend 4 hours there like I did. In some ways, cemeteries connect you with the past in a subtle way museums and art galleries cannot. So, whether you wish to visit and reflect on the fact that 200 years of Argentine history rests beneath your feet, or if you would prefer to marvel at the architecture of the tombs, I am convinced everyone will find the experience of visiting the Recoleta Cemetery worthwhile.